may question ba or concern doon sa software na binabanggit ko? Get class kung ano kasi I don't expect na lahat may access formally, pero I would just extending this tutorials or lessons para mas ma-maximize nyo at mas maintindihan nyo kasi mamaya papakita ko sa inyo kung ano yung syllabus na or yung learning module na nanggaling sa department. And I think it's raw kasi mas maiintindihan nyo talaga siya kung meron kayong access sa pagmo-model. Pero but then again, I don't fully require that kung talagang hindi. And then let's make a workaround for those students na hindi talaga makakapag-modeling. Okay? All right, so let's start for the intro. Ayan. Okay, so for our course description, so this course is an introduction to building information modeling, which will be utilized to give students a practical, on-hands introduction, introduction lang, and related computer-related techniques, for documentation and modeling of design structures. It is also designed to enhance the knowledge and skills in building information modeling. Take note, that's the meaning of BIM, in accordance with the international standards. It covers competencies required in construction engineering and management, infrastructure engineering, facilities management, structure, and MEPM. Actually, kulang to eh. Kasi ito yung common na use of BIM sa mga structures. Pero meron kasing aspect ang BIM na nasa horizontal projects. Ginagawan din ng BIM yung mga road projects na merong mga drainage sa ilalim, water lines, electrical lines kung they are modeled sa ilalim ng lupa, if they are underground, if they are overhead, if they are using post doon sa mga electrical wires and let's say mga telephone wires. So that's another thing din sa electrical, pero that's for the infrastructure. Ito kasi MEPF, it's for the single building lang. Then as you go along, meron din tayong mga bridges, kasama din yan sa BIM. Meron mga components yung bridges, yung mga bakal. Ganun din, may mga electrical, may mga pipe yan sa drainage system, yung mga scuppers kung tawagin, and so on. So those are also another use for the competencies built by this BIM modeling. Okay? So puntahan muna natin yung class grading system. So based sa syllabus, I think this is 70 and 30. Kaya lang I transfer 10% from the class standing sa major exams kasi if I will not, lalaki yung portions nitong mga to. And then ito naman is mas maliit kasi lalabas ko midterm and final exam, so that is take 15% kung under 30%. Pero I don't want that kaysa mas mataas itong mga other factors dito, which is normal naman na dapat ito. Unless I will be giving you additional requirement, which I think I will not do. So just have na lang 40% for the major and final exam. Kaysa magdagdag pa ako ng mga requirement. For the class participation, yun, it's just attendance, kung meron tayong mga recitation, yan. So that would comprise you for the 10%. Then for the assignment and set work, so definitely kung pumasok ka, so magagawa mo yung assignment and set work na yan at makakapagpasa ka on time. Yan. And then yung quizzes, then project. So for our requirements, so at least I am planning to have 4 quizzes, 4 set works, and 4 assignments. At least, hopefully, ma-accomplish natin. Well, since most of the time is conducted online, so we will, or I will ask you to submit those requirements sa Teams. Currently, I'm still working out with the assignment tab doon sa Teams natin na pinrepair ko kasi hindi siya nagwo-work. Baka may problema yung doon sa storage capacity ng server ni PUP. So, I let you know kapag meron na akong mga pinopost na assignment. On the other hand, in case na hindi pa siya mag-work, I will ask you to submit muna sa email. Tsaka ako na lang ita-download. And also project, ito pinag-isipan ko kung paano natin gagawin yung project. Yun, for hopefully lahat kayo may access, or if not, tawag dito, this project will be composed of 2 students na lang siguro. Pero we'll see, pag-usapan natin next meeting kung manageable sa mga computers nyo yung softwares na pinakita ko kanina. If not, so let's make it group of 2. Okay, for now. Pero pag-usapan natin yan next meeting. And also the detail, pag-usapan natin sa mga susunod na araw. And then for the major and final exams, for the major exams, so that's midterm and final exam. Ayan. So, grading system, familiar naman kayo dito that the passing grade sa university natin is 75. And then these are the equivalents of each grade mark. So, ayun, hindi ko na siya further explain. Ngayon pa lang, sinasabi ko na, class, as long as on my end, as long as you perform well, kung pasado yung mga exams, as long as you complete all the requirements, wala tayong magiging problema in terms of your grade at the end of the semester. Kasi what I don't like is that students will come to me and said, "Sir, ano pong pwede ko magawa para tumaas yung grade?" So ngayon pa lang, hindi ko kasi masyadong ini-entertain yung ganon. I know meron tayong pwede kayo magkaroon ng issue if ever that you will be failing the subject kasi you are under the RA of the pre-education. So, na-discuss naman sa amin yun. Ngayon, on your end, bilang mga scholar ng bayan, bilang mga nakaka-experience ng privilege of studying for free. So please please do your part as a student to complete all the requirements. If there would be any issues along the way, reach out para ma-work out natin kung ano yung issues nyo doon sa mga requirements ko. Para later, once na nagsimula na ako mag-compute ng grade, so wala tayong problema. I would say I don't like to fail students. Hindi ko gusto nang babagsak. Actually, it's hard for me to do that kasi alam ko mahirap ang buhay kung meron na sa inyong mga paying. So it's hard for you dahil yung iba self-sustaining, yung iba pinaghihirapan ng magulang yung pinagtutuition. So again, please work your part para lang hindi tayo magka-problema at the end of the semester. Okay? And then you can always reach out to me in case that there would be any issues. Again, para lang din hindi masyadong ma-stress sa inyo yung class representative natin, you can reach out kung meron kayong primary concern sa akin. I think meron mga faculty ata na ang gusto lang yung class rep yung kumakausap sa kanila. Well, ako naman nagre-reply naman ako. Pero you can reach out to me sa Facebook. Yun lang, sana kung may magme-message, don't message naman ng mga alanganing oras. Kasi from the past, there are students that are messaging me around 1 in the morning na. So, alauna na ng madaling araw. So, don't do that. So, you can just reach out to me the following day. Okay, so madali naman ako kausap, and kung hindi man ako makareply ngayon, I can reply. Kung if ever na masin ko yung message nyo, you can follow up. So, I don't mind. And then, hindi naman ako masungit na faculty. Anyway, so going back, for our class policies, okay, so regular attendance is expected. This is for face-to-face class. Okay, kung online, I understand that there are times that you will be attending face-to-face class sa ibang subject na maaaring hindi kayo maka-attend kagad sa subject ko. or vice versa. Now, since the recording will be available or will be uploaded for your disposal, so you can check or you can review the recording once na makauwi kayo. Pero again, mas maganda pa din na makapag-attend kayo ng online class kung wala namang issues, kasi if ever that there are clarifications, so you can always reach out during the class kesa yung nag-access lang kayo ng mga recordings. Okay? Ayan, late submission will not be accepted kung meron tayong mga deadline. Okay, so hindi ko siya tatanggapin kahit may minus, so hindi ko siya tatanggapin. So please submit it on time. At saka ample time naman yung binibigay ko at reasonable. I don't give requirements tapos hindi siya reasonable for you to accomplish with a certain period of time. Then, for all paperworks, kung meron tayong mga submissions, kung meron ako ipapasubmit sa inyo, gusto ko naka A4 format lahat. Whether that is a hard copy na handwritten, hard copy na computerized. So gusto ko lahat naka A4 kasi A4 ang ginagamit as a formal and official size na ginagamit sa industry. We don't use long and short. We use A4. And then, pag hindi kayo gumamit ng A4, so minus 20 na yan. Okay? For online submission, so kunwari handwritten, so picturean nyo lang, make sure na nasa A4 pa din. Picturean nyo lang, and then all online submission should be in PDF. And yung pala hindi ko nilagay dito. Again, all should be in PDF and attached in the email. Pag hindi kasya, pag it's more than 25 MB, that's the time na lang na tsaka kayo gumamit ng OneDrive para i-send sa akin yung link. Okay? And then, yun, minus 20 for not using the correct paper size. Notebooks are recommended but not necessarily required. The reason why I added this one is that I noticed that your generation, and by Gen Z ba, you normally take a photo of the lecture. And then pa nag-review is swipe to the left, swipe to the right lang. So, there are times na wala masyadong retention pagdating sa pag-aaral. Unlike if you're writing it, there is definitely retention doon sa pag-aaral. So since I am a millennial, so naging part din naman namin before na pinipicturean yung notes. Pero I always make sure na sinusulat ko pa rin siya kasi nga nagkakaroon naman ng retention, and in a way nare-review ko yung notes. Okay? Pero again, hindi naman siya required. Then only 2 valid absences is allowed. So, excuse letter are not allowed. Para lang siya maging valid, kakausapin ko yung magulang nyo. This would only apply sa mga exams kasi there are cases na hindi pumapasok yung estudyante during exam. Sabihin may sakit kasi hindi prepared sa exam. So, para lang maging valid yun, kailangan ko makausap yung magulang nyo. Okay? Personally, hindi pwedeng through phone or through email. Now, if you don't want that hassle on your end, so might as well pasok na lang kayo on time or pasok na lang kayo during the exams para wala nang issues doon. Okay? And then, quizzes, ignore nyo itong 2 kasi per term, midterm and final exam, so that's 4. Yan. Then major exams, yung coverage ng quiz and major exams are all announced. Okay, so hindi ako nagbibigay ng surprise exam. Tsaka ini-schedule natin yan. Okay, and then all forms of dishonesty. Eto, dito naman ako mahigpit. Kahit gaano ako kabait, pero ito yung pinaka-ayoko, yung forms of dishonesty and cheating. Once na mahuli ko, so hindi ko alam kung ano yung nakalagay sa student handbook natin, kung babagsak ka lang ba dun sa isang subject. Pero para sa akin, bagsak ka sa buong, kung babagsak ka dun sa exam na kunwari, nag-cheat ka. Pero sa akin, bagsak ka sa buong subject natin if you are caught doing all forms of dishonesty. The reason why is that gusto ko sa level nyo pa lang, ma-implement natin yung pagiging honest. For me, naniniwala kasi ako na it's better to fail because kulang yung knowledge ko kaysa pumasa ako kasi nag-cheat ako tapos alam kong kulang ang knowledge ko. So sayang naman yung naipasa mo kasi wala ka natutunan. Ngayon, kung talagang wala ka natutunan, you deserve to fail kasi ganoon talaga. Pero um um tsaka siguro naman very timely that most of the government officials are are very dishonest sa mga ginagawa nila. Nandadaya sila. Ngayon, balang araw kayo naman yung papalit sa generation ng mga nakaupo. So, um I want to implant that honesty and integrity diyan sa inyo. Kasi as you work later on sa industry, isa din 'yan sa importante, yung pinapangalagaan yung pangalan. Siyempre hindi niyo gustong masira ang pangalan niyo. Walang may gusto diyan for the sake of something in return. 'Di ba yung iba they want their um kumbaga they want yung something na makukuha nila by forming a sort of dishonesty, pera, ganyan, favor, ganyan. So we don't want that. Okay? We want to live honest and mas maluwag sa loob kapag tayo ay gumagawa ng tama at alam nating wala tayong ginagawang mali. Okay? At it's very rewarding kapag nakukuha natin yung mga bagay sa malinis na paraan. Okay? Wala naman akong hugot sa mga flood control projects natin pero kasi it's a something that in general we should implant sa atin yung honesty and integrity. Okay? So yun, lastly, bago tayo mag-start sa formal lecture, let me introduce myself. So by the way, I'm Engineer Mark Tristan Felix, MSCE. So I am a Mapua graduate, so batch 2006 until 2010. I took my board exam in May 2011. And then right after a year, I took my master's degree sa same university, Master of Science in Civil Engineering, major in structural, specialized in structural pala, hindi pala major, sabi ni Ched. So it's from 2012 until 2014. So my program is a with thesis program. So yun, na-accomplish ko naman yung thesis for my master's degree. And then right now, currently, I am taking up my PhD CE sa UP Diliman. So it is specialized in water resource. So medyo may jump kasi before I thought I am an aspiring structural engineer. Kaya lang throughout my career, exposed ako sa mga water projects. So might as well, water resource na lang yung tapusin ko kasi yun yung mismong trabaho ko sa full-time job. Take note class that I am a part-time faculty sa university natin. I just started last year, second sem. So, and I'm still currently with the Polytechnic University of the Philippines up until now. Before, I was also a part-time faculty sa FEU. By the way, this is the school na nagtuturo ng Civil 3D. Wala nang iba. Kahit sa UP na andun ako, I don't think na meron sila. And sa Mapua, definitely wala kami dyan noon. Now, and also I am a part-time faculty din sa Adamson University. So, in case that you have any concerns and then I am not available sa school, I may be available sa Adamson University at MWF sa hapon hanggang gabi. Kung may concerns kayo, may mga student na pupunta sa akin doon. So, from PUP, kung mayroong mga concerns, so you are very much welcome kahit nandun ako sa kabilang school. And then of course, sa sa university natin, you are very much welcome as long as na andun ako sa school natin. And then also, I am a full-time faculty. Ito yung full-time job ko. So, teka, ayusin natin yung presentation ko. Bakit bumaba? Yan. So, my full-time job is at Oricon Australasia Pty Ltd. I am with the company from 2022 until present. It is an Australian company na may office dito sa Pasig City. So, we are doing multi-discipline design. So, I am part of the water resource group. So, ang ginagawa namin mga drainage system ng mga highways, mga substations, yun. As long as na may water component drainage system to address flood mitigation. So yun yung ginagawa namin. And then sa GHD, I was part of GHD Philippines, kung familiar kayo sa company, another Australian company. So ang office niya is tatlo, I think, sa Philippines, isa sa may Magallanes, isa sa may LRT Roosevelt malapit, and then yung isa naman sa Cebu. So these two companies, maganda dito pumasok kung gusto nyong ma ma-expose sa multinational company. And then later on, if you are aspiring to relocate sa Australia or New Zealand, ito yung isa sa mga companies na tinatarget ng mga Pinoy kasi ito yung magbibigay ng magandang opportunity or exposure sa mga Australian projects na later on, pag in-assess kayo ng Australian government, makikita nila capable kayo kasi nakapagtrabaho na kayo with them kahit na nasa Pilipinas kayo. And then of course, yung first job ko is the Line Associates. So it's already closed na tong company na to, pero this is a US-based firm na nakalocate sa Hawaii. Ayun. So yun, so that's all for me. Um yan, yan formal na ako nagpakilala. So let's jump na I don't think naman na may question kayo sa ano ko sa about your faculty. Pero any question pala about the subject bago tayo mag-proceed? So wala? Okay. So let's go with the first slide. So we will just discussing the overview of this subject, the BIM. And then pakita ko na lang din kung ano yung sinasabi ko sa inyong file that came from the department. Nasaan na ba yun? So I can send this one to you, pero basically kasi kino-convert ko din to sa PowerPoint presentation, tapos dinadagdagan ko pa. Pero ito mismo yung nanggaling sa department. It is for your own disposal naman kasi department naman yung gumawa. So, ayan. So sila, Sir Kenneth pala yung nag-prepare. Ayan. So, I think ito yung module nung pandemic, if I'm not mistaken. Ayan. So ito, I'll do a side-by-side comparison with the syllabus para lang alam nyo na whatever is in here, ito kasi teaching plan, ito dapat yung matutunan nyo along the semester, throughout the semester. And then, nandito yung ginawa nila ng, presentation. So, tingnan natin yung table of contents. So, orientation, so okay na tayo dito, tapos na tayo. Mission vision, hindi ko na ituturo kasi alam nyo na yan, inuulit-ulit lang naman yan sa mga subjects nyo. Kaya dumiretso na ako dito sa discussion ng syllabus and then yung goals and expectation setting tsaka yung mga requirements. So, I think na-cover na natin yan kanina. So, punta tayo muna sa discussion of the core syllabus. So, for introduction course, ito, synthesizing the constraint using the BIM and proposed framework in education. So, ito yon. Pakita ko lang, ito yung i-discuss ko ngayon. Synthesizing aspect and constraints of structural design using BIM in a proposed framework in education. So, yan yon. So, ito is nandito naman yan. Lesson 1. Ito yan. So, meron tayong content yan. Lesson 2. That's for week 2 to 3. Hanggang next week. Actually, di ba? Papakita ko sa inyo gaano kaiksi itong lesson 1 later. I-scan natin itong document. Tapos that is good for 3 weeks. Tapos may plates pang nakalagay. So I don't think na makakapag-plate tayo kasi laboratory subject dapat to hindi ko i-require yung plate para palagi inyong gagawin. Baka sa project na lang. Okay, so next is BMC, the BIM-based modeling checking. So ito siya, lesson 2. Week 4, punta tayo sa week 7 and 8. BIM cost and estimating. So ito din siya, ayan. A change in the process for determining project cost. So, ito yan. Then, BIM inertia, contracts and behaviors. Lesson 4. Lesson 5, BIM for facilities management. Current practices and future prospects. Module 6, adaptive an adaptive cyber physical system approach to construction progress, monitoring, and control. And 7, domain independent facility. Tapos na. Yun lang. For 38 pages, gagawin natin siya for the entire semester. Okay? So what I want to do is I will embed actual application, actual tutorials. Kasi baka hindi ko magawa yung tutorial dito sa class. Kasi mahirap siyang sabayan kapag nagtuturo ako. So I will create a separate tutorial for this one. Para sa inyo gagawa ako. Okay. Ayun, yun lang. So pakita ko lang yung topic natin for today on how long is it etong synthesizing. So from page 10, ayan page 10, introduction, BIM education. Yun lang, ilang pages yan? 1, and course material, 1, 11, 12. Ayun. So ito na i-discuss natin ngayong araw. Pero what will be my approach is that apart from this module, I will relate everything that I will be saying sa ginagawa namin sa actual. Since I am a practicing faculty, so hindi ako faculty na full-time again as what I've said. So ang learning and knowledge ko came from the actual practice sa industry. Yung iba kasi most of the full-time, they do have also practice, pero they do have also yung part na wala ako is yung researches. So yun yung napag-combine nila, the research and the from time to time yung mga full-time or yung mga industry works nila. Pero but then again yun, what I will be discussing is purely industry kasi wala naman akong research pang kinoconduct. Okay. So yun, pinakita ko na sa inyo yung syllabus, and then now, and yung mga requirements dito, mga assignment, sheet work, short quizzes, reporting, hindi mo na tayo mag-report. Ako na lang magsasalita lahat kasi i-research nyo lang naman yan eh. Tsaka mag-e-effort pa kayo. Ako na lang mag-discuss. Ang effort nyo na lang yung other requirements ko sa class. Okay? Okay, so let's go with the discussion. May chat ba? Wala naman. Teka. Okay, sige. Let's proceed. Yung habol pa. Teka lang class, may nag-request pa rin ng access eh. Okay, so let's go with the topic. Ayan. Course description. I think nasabi ko na to. Ay, hindi pala to. Sorry, mali. Save mo muna to. Ulitin ba yung course description? Yeah, this one. Hindi. Introduction na. Okay, so let's proceed. So first module natin is synthesizing. So we combine aspects and constraints of structural design using BIM and proposed framework in education. Siguro with this one, I will not be limited with the structural design. I will also impart part of the civil design. Kasi ang course natin is civil, di ba? Civil engineering technology nga ba? And then, later on, which is what I asked you a while ago, you will be upgrading to civil engineering program mismo. So, hindi lang siya structural. Hindi naman structural lang ang in-enroll nyo, kung hindi civil. So, you should be able to know aspects about civil projects, not only structural. Okay. So, introduction. So, the integration of BIM. So, again, the meaning of BIM is building information modeling. In structural design, offers a dynamic approach to synthesizing various aspects and constraint in construction. So, ano ba yung mga makikita natin sa BIM? Na information. So, we often see load-bearing capacities, materials, sustainability, and regulatory requirements. So whatever that are needed or required, so yan yung mga makikita natin sa sa modeling natin. BIM enables the creation of detailed data-driven models. Take note detailed data-driven models that enhance collaboration, streamline the design process. Streamline meaning there's a workflow na sinusunod na maayos sa design process and allow early identification of potential issues. Ito yung clash detection. In other words, ito yung yung usual na makikita natin. Pag pinagsama-sama na lahat ng aspects of the project, makikita na natin kung may nagka-clash ba, meron bang kailangang i-adjust. Okay? So this lesson explores how BIM can be utilized to address structural design challenges. Again, hindi lang structural, pati civil. And proposes a framework for incorporating BIM into education. Okay, so kailangan matutunan natin yung BIM sa school. Take note class, nung panahon namin, since I am a graduate, nung 15 years ago, may BIM na, pero wala pa to sa subject sa school. Okay, kasi nagsisimula pa lang yung BIM that time. Although pinapractice na siya, pero hindi siya part of the curriculum. By embedding BIM in academic curriculums, future engineers like you and architects can gain a deeper understanding of modern construction practices, equipping them to manage increasingly complex projects. So by the way, class, later I will be defining yung BIM. So kung i-imagine nyo, you model your design, you model your project into a computer. We normally want that kasi kaysa makita mo yung actual problem sa site at doon i-address sa site na ginagawa ng mga construction engineers na sila yung nag-a-address ng mga uncoordinated elements sa construction. Okay? Minomodel na natin siya para habang hindi pa siya nakakonstruct sa site, nakikita na natin yung issue. Kasi if not, there would be cost repercussion kapag hindi kagad siya na-identify. Na later we will be discussing in-depth yung sinasabi kong yun. Pero just imagine, kunwari, yung tubo ng downspout ng bubong, tumama doon sa poste. Diba? Gusto mo bang i-adjust mo yung downspout na yun? Once na makita mo na yung main problem, o mas magandang ma-address mo na ba yung problem bago pa simulan yung project. So yun yung one of the use of this BIM na para makita mo yung magiging final product niya pag pinagsama-sama again lahat ng model ng mga disciplines and if there would be any arising issues. Ayun. Lalo na sa mga complex project kasi baka inisip nyo lang building. Paano yung mga complex project like mga hydropower, yung mga dams, ayan ginagawan din yan. Sa experience ko kasi ang ginamitan namin ng BIM sa project ko is golf course. Okay, golf course na may hotel and casino. So ay para siya, dalawang bundok ata sa may Tarlac. So siya, hindi lang siya golf course pati yung pinaglalagyan ng mga villa, yung mga bahay ay yung parang hotel na villa, hindi yung hotels na rooms lang, hindi mga villas. So pati yun, chine-check namin lahat and so on. Okay? Then learning objectives. Ayan, so what are the objectives at the end of this module? So familiarize yourselves with the significance of structural/civil using BIM. Okay. Yung significance lang, pero wala pa tayo sa in detail. Then understand the BIM proposed framework in education. Okay. So let's define first yung BIM kasi I'm not sure if you have another subject that already discussed sa inyo yung BIM, pero let me define what is BIM para mas maintindihan natin. Okay. Sabi sa description, it is a collaborative process for creating and managing digital intelligent 3D models that represent the physical and functional characteristics of a project like a building or infrastructure. These models serve as a central data repository for the entire project lifecycle from planning and design to construction, operations, and maintenance, enabling better communication, coordination, and decision-making among all stakeholders. So ito yung purpose niya, ay yun yung kanina ko pa sinasabi. So more on, ang importante dito is the coordination, enabling better communication. Ayan. Kasi with that, we can now have or come up to a single decision kung anong gagawin doon sa project natin in case that there will be arising issues. So, parang ganito yung makikita nyo. Ito is an example of image sa BIM na ang hina-highlight yung mga piping ng isang structure. So, with visualizing this kung paano siya ilalatag, considering na susundin niya ng mga mga workers natin, well, na susundin din naman. Ganito yung magiging itsura ng pagkakalatag ng mga pipes. Okay? Kasi importante yung mga clearances, for maintenance, etc. So, ayan. Then, just imagine kung mayroon pang mga beams na makikita. Like, for example, etong beam na to. So, eto bang pipe na to is tutusok ba yan doon sa loob ng beam or biga? Kung hindi, walang problema kung dadan sa ilalim. So, anong itsura? Kung tutusok, may tatama ba siyang bakal sa loob? So, yun yung mga tinitingnan natin or kino-consider natin. Yan sa modeling. Na later, ituturo ko sa inyo doon sa software. Okay? So, what are the key aspects of building information modeling? So, ano yung mga aspeto niya? So, intelligent 3D models. Unlike traditional 2D CAD. So, I assume na marunong na kayong mag-CAD or may subject kayong CAD before. Naturuan na kayo. So, yun ay 2D model. So, sa BIM naman, so it uses data-rich 3D model that contain more than just graphical information. So, ano siya? Kung yung isa 2D, flat, nasa single plane lang, sa flat. So, yung BIM naman is naka 3D na lahat. So, later I will be discussing yung levels of detail, yung ng beam natin. Teka, pakita ko lang. Para ma-ensure natin na hanggang saang extent ba yung titingnan natin sa beam. Pakita ko lang, class. Yan. Level of development. Ito yung LOD. Ang tawag dito is LOD. So ito ang pagka minodel natin to sa actual beam, depende to sa contract natin if ano yung level of detail. Take note, the higher the level value, yan, LOD 100 to 500, the more complex yung modeling. Siyempre, the more time you're gonna consume, the more resources you're going to consume, the more na mas mahal yung sisingilin mo sa client. So, ito yung example, parang kung gagawa ko, i-represent mo yung bahay kung square lang, LOD 100, and as you go along, nag-i-improve yung LOD or yung level of development. So, bigyan pa tayo na example ng LOD. Ito, ayan. For example, column. Ayan. So, kapag ka 100, ganito lang. Tapos 200. Ito, parang line lang. Kapag ka nag 200, pag 300 ka na, medyo may thickness. Pagka 400, nakapatong na sa pedestal. Lagay ka lang ng konting bakal. Tapos pag 500, very detailed. May mga washer, nuts and bolts, etc. etc. Okay, so ito yung mga kino-consider natin. With the description, we will be discussing hindi pa na to English. We will be discussing this one later sa mga succeeding slides natin. Pero just take note of that LOD. Yan yung parang level of modeling. Baka kasi naglalaro na sa isip nyo. Gaano ba ka-detail dapat yung gawin sa BIM? So madami siyang level. Depende sa contract na pipirmahan nyo or yung gustong ipagawa ni client. Okay. Life cycle management. The model is a single source of truth. So yun lang yung panggagalingan that tracks an asset from its initial concept through its entire existence. Okay? Then collaboration. Ito yung pinaka-importante. Again, I think nasabi ko na kanina, ulit. It's a collaborative process where architects, engineers, contractors, other stakeholders work together, sharing information in a unified environment. Another key aspect, data integration. So BIM integrates structured multidisciplinary data, making project management easier and more streamlined. So yun, through BIM, you integrate whatever data you have doon nga sa much easier approach kasi by just imagine by just a click of something sa computer, ilang click lang, makikita mo na yung actual. Instead of visualizing, okay, yung 2D plans. Okay? Then applications. It's used in the architecture, engineering, and construction industry to design and construct various physical assets. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, hindi lang limited sa structural. Sa buildings lang yun eh. Kasi part din ng BIM is the roads, bridges, and utilities, which is the drainage system or mga electrical. Ayan. Benefits, ano ba makukuha natin sa BIM? It leads to improved coordination. Again, coordination. Di ba po ulit yung term na coordination? Reduce errors and rework. Kasi nga, may proper or good or improved coordination na nasabi ko din kanina, may kinalaman sa cost. Okay? Kasi maapektuhan yung budget mo kung hindi mo siya nakita ahead of time. Then, it enhances visualization and of course, more efficient project delivery. Next. So, eto na. Let's just have a very short again definition or history. So building structures have always seen essential components of building design. So before or until now, so this is attributed to the roles and meanings of safety, economy, performance of buildings to the society at large. Ayan. From early societies until present, buildings have provided shelter, encouraged productivity, embodied cultural history, ayan, and definitely represented in an important part of human civilization. So, yung mga information sa mga structures, so yan yung mga ginagamit natin to construct. Pero before, plan, di ba? Madami tayong mga nakitang mga um, feats of engineering and marvels or architecture, yung nung like mga pyramid, ganyan, di ba? Mga Great Wall of China, yung um, um, Leaning Tower of Pisa, etc. So, ayan. Pero, well, before, sa 2D plans lang siya nanggaling. In fact, the roles of structures are constantly changing in terms of shaping certain quantities of materials and provide efficient support to the architecture against gravity and other environmental forces. So BIM in education. Ayan. Since BIM is quite different from traditional CAD. So kaya let's separate yung CAD sa BIM kasi definitely magkaiba. Although they have the same purpose na pwede nating magamit for our industry. Pero yung traditional CAD is manual based. Then yung BIM is parang digital based. Dahil it's a model that requires us a machine for us to view. Kunwari, kailangan natin ng computer, kailangan natin ng cellphone para makita yung BIM. Pero yung traditional CAD, final output yan sa paper. Okay, it does require new ways of thinking and teaching. Ito. So again, ang approach ko sa teaching is aside from discussing what's in the module, I will allow you to learn how to model and try to incorporate it later sa BIM. For example, BIM facilities collaboration and teamwork across discipline that must be incorporated in teaching BIM courses. So again, I will just focus doon sa trade ng civil engineering in terms of the discipline na ituturo sa BIM. So furthermore, BIM provides rich visualization of building elements and parametric modeling of behavior, which can enhance students' learning Yan na. Ito yung gusto ko kasi mangyari, visual, learning experience in virtual construction. Kailangan makita nyo siya virtually. Okay, such as understanding how building elements fit together as just as they must on a physical site. Okay, continuation. So ito, yung SAS or the Structure and Architecture Synergy Framework focuses on the interplay between architecture and structures and emphasize a learning process that is highly creative in nature. In this framework that later I will show you, the form of the structure is constrained not only by its function, so hindi siya limited sa function niya, the site and the designer vision, but also how it will work as a whole. Okay? And by the need to provide a rational argument and calculation to justify expectations before the structure is being built. Take note class, yung structure natin, kahit sa 2D, if ever that there are issues arises na later pag kayo na yung nagde-design ng mga projects, pag naging civil engineer kayo, okay, um, if there are issues, okay, so you need to have, so hindi ka constraint lang doon sa function mo. Kasi kung meron kang mga issues na kailangang i-arise, na kailangang hindi ikaw yung mag-adjust, ito yung gusto kong sabihin. Okay, you need to have an argument and calculation to justify yung expectation. Kasi, like for example, kung gusto ni client ng sobrang haba ng cantilever, kaya siyang i-model. Pero pag ginawa sa site, is it safe or unsafe? So, yun yung something na kailangan mong i-justify sa architect na kung that will work or not. Okay? So, you don't just lay around and wait for instruction and follow them. Pero if it won't work, it won't work. So, kailangan we stood our ground for us to explain just by presenting calculations or um, um, very brief explanation if it will work or not. Then, yan. So, ito yung framework natin. So, it is divided into two, engineering and architecture. So, so part of this is yung structural melodies, which is the process and objective definition. So, ito yung gusto ni structural, ay ni architect. So, right in between is the structural poetry where whatever the architect wants for our structural or whatever the architect wants na may kinalaman sa structural natin will be part of the integrates creativity, innovation, and artistic expression. So we somewhat try to make them or make it work by creating by thinking, teka, paano ko ba ito masosolve yung gusto ni architect? And then later, as you come up with your plan of approach on how are you going to design, that's the time that you will use the scientific principles na matututunan nyo later on, yung structural analysis. Actually, this is a subject, structural analysis. So what I'm trying to say or what is being said here is that yun, we work around what is being required by the architect. Okay? So ilalagay niya sa BIM tools. Ito yung gusto kong maging itsura. Ganyan. Tapos ikaw, magko-compute ka. Mag-work ba? Pag hindi, pag-uusapan yan sa BIM na ganito, ganyan. And then, it's a repetitive cycle. Pwedeng mag-input kayo dito, i-check dito, pag-uusapan dito, may changes ka, or pag-uusapan dito, or maaaring dito may babaguhin, and so on. So basically, it is whatever is being done here sa brainstorming is being conceptualized and being visualized here sa BIM tools. Okay? Para mas madaling maintindihan ni architect. Kasi minsan, mahirap i-explain sa architect kapag dahil hindi naman sila engineer. So there are jargons or there are terminologies na tayo lang yung nakakaalam na they are trying to comprehend, pero it would be easier for them and also for the client, for the stakeholders to see ano ba yung yung itsura ng sinasabi ng engineer kaysa yung mga values ng mga sinasabing, etc. Okay? Ayun. So what are the softwares used in BIM? So marami. Ito nakita ko to sa internet. Actually, hindi ko nga alam lahat to eh. Kasi ang common na ginagamit is Revit. Ayan. So it's divided into 5, I guess, sabi dito. So yung the analysis, the calculation, okay, pero iba yung ginagamit natin pang calculate. Other software like STAAD, ETABS for structural yun AutoCAD Civil 3D for civil design, and then we also have 12D for drainage design. So marami. Hindi naman siya limited dito. Then programming, yung gagawa ka ng ipoprogram mo sa Dynamo. Ito nadinig ko to ilang beses na itong ginagamit ng mga namin, MEPF, yung Dynamo. Gumagawa sila for the pinoprogram nila yung pagmo-model nila. Ito pala civil 3D sa 3D modeling. Pero may calculation kasing involved. So they can also be part of the analysis. And then yun, coordination. So just imagine yung mga minodel dito sa 3D modeling and other software. Pag ipinasok mo dito mo na makikita. Actually, ito yung pinapahanap po sa inyo. Navisworks. Kasi pag pinagsama-sama mo yung mga models dyan, yan, makikita mo na dyan ano yung itsura. And then for the architecture or for the purpose of rendering and tawag dito, and visualization of the client. So ito, pwede namang gumamit nito. Pero kung by just 3D lang, pwede na tong yung coordination. Dati, ito lang din yung pine-present namin sa client. Pero yun, kung gusto ni client ng medyo realistic na yung magiging final output, so ito yung ginagamit. Okay? Ayan. I think si SketchUp din meron tong rendering modeling, rendering features. So it can also use for visualization. Ayan. And then another software. So ito for the planning. Parang company to. Ayan, so kung ano mong company dito, then anong software yung gagamitin for modeling, for the analysis, and so on, and then for the use. Plus, may isa dito na mag-stand out, which is the BIM 360. This is a cloud-based database ng Autodesk. Okay, kung saan pwede mong i-upload lahat ng mga models doon para makita ng client kahit nasa ang location siya sa buong mundo. Ang software na meron lang siya is account sa BIM 360 that can be accessible sa Google Chrome or sa 360. Ayan. Pages. At bali ganito yung itsura niya. Kapag inopen mo sa Google Chrome or sa internet, sa Microsoft Edge, wala na palang Internet Explorer. So ganito yung itsura niya. Ayan. So ito, ganito yung view na makikita ni client. Tapos naka-folder siya. Para siyang para siyang OneDrive. Pero meron siyang component na pag click mo yung model, makikita mo siya in 3D. Nababasa niya kasi yung Navisworks. Pagka Navisworks yung file, so nababasa siya nung BIM 360 kahit sa Google Chrome lang siya. And then yun, pwede nang i-navigate ni client para pwede niya makita. Pero for further analysis, kailangan mo pa rin ng simulate kung gusto mo mag-check ng class detection. And then, it can also be accessible kapag may BIM 360 app ka kapag may BIM 360 software ka, mga kailangan mo mag-install ng Autodesk connector. Pakita ko lang din. I-discuss natin to later. It's just a introduction. Ayan, Autodesk connector. Ayan. So, sa Autodesk connector, so nakita nyo siya. Para siyang ganito. Ayan. Makikita mo, ito yung Google Chrome, 'di ba? Na website. Diyan makikita mo yung model. Tapos, kapag may Autodesk connector ka, lalabas siya doon sa Windows Explorer mo. Pwede mong i-access yung same file dito sa mismong computer mo. I think that's how OneDrive works din or SharePoint. Okay, kung familiar kayo sa SharePoint, gano'n din siya mag-work. Pwedeng sa Google Chrome or sa Microsoft Edge, pwede mo din siyang i-access dito. Isi-sync mo lang yung mga data. Okay? So ayun, we will be discussing that further later, yung mga auto disconnector and so on. Para for you to further understand what is in the ano, the the software. Ayun. Ayun class, I think yun lang naman yung i-discuss natin for today. Kasi end of slide na. Ayan, medyo maaga pa tayo. So I will be giving you an assignment. So hindi naman siya something na ano, na teka, end ko muna yung recording again.